paid $28 for Chateau Meg, are they?
Even her kids are fake produce, it turns out.
Well,
we don't know
looks
that.
like they could be.
She doesn't want anything to do with her own children. They are props in this whole PR game that she is playing to make her look like a loving mother.
Something's not adding up. For years, Meghan Markle's story about baby Archie seemed polished and perfect. A glowing pregnancy, sweet interviews, a proud royal birth announcement. But what if that entire narrative was constructed? Because now, out of nowhere, the very hospital Meghan claimed to have delivered Archie in has released a statement that's left the world stunned. They say Meghan Markle was never there, not admitted, not in labor, not even walking through the door. And this isn't a random rumor from the internet. This is coming directly from the hospital itself. If this is true, it completely unravels one of the most high-profile royal stories in modern history. So what really happened on the day Archie was supposedly born? And why are so many powerful voices staying silent? Let's dig into it, because the truth may be far stranger than anyone imagined. The hospital bombshell, a shocking revelation. For years, the world believed one story. Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, gave birth to baby Archie in a respected hospital under the care of expert physicians, with her husband Prince Harry by her side. That was the official narrative, backed by palace announcements, photographs, and global media coverage. But recently, that narrative has been shaken at its core. A formal statement has surfaced from the very hospital Meghan was said to have used for the delivery. The contents of that statement? Nothing short of shocking. According to hospital records, Meghan was never admitted. There is no medical file, no log of her entering the building, no delivery notes, no interaction with staff, not on that day or on any surrounding dates. Even the hospital's security records reportedly show no trace of her presence. This isn't a minor discrepancy. This is a complete contradiction of the version of events that has been publicly accepted since 2019. When such a claim comes directly from a medical institution that logs every patient and visitor for legal and security purposes, it calls everything else into question. And what makes it even more impactful is that this isn't a rumor from an anonymous source or a social media post. It's documentation from a regulated facility. In the world of royal protocol, where every detail is usually coordinated with precision, this missing piece is enormous. So now the world is left wondering, if Meghan wasn't there, then where was she? And if the story of the hospital birth isn't true, then what part of the story is? The vanishing trail, what the public never saw. Let's rewind to the hours and days surrounding Archie's birth. Think back to how royal births have unfolded in the past, how Princess Diana and Kate Middleton both stood on the steps of St. Mary's Hospital, proudly introducing their newborns to the world. Just hours after delivery, press lined the sidewalks, crowds cheered, and the public watched every step of the journey, from hospital entrance to hospital exit. But in Meghan and Harry's case, things were different. Very different. There were no images of Meghan entering a hospital, no video of a car pulling up to the maternity ward, and no sightings of the couple being escorted by medical personnel. The first public announcement said Meghan was in labor. Then, just hours later, a second statement revealed the baby had already been born, raising eyebrows even then. The timeline didn't make sense, and it left journalists and royal watchers confused. When the couple finally appeared with Archie, it wasn't outside a hospital or in a traditional press setting. Instead, it was a tightly controlled, brief appearance inside Windsor Castle. Meghan looked composed and radiant, hair done, makeup flawless, wearing white. There were no signs of physical strain, no exhaustion, no bandages or post-delivery discomfort typically associated with childbirth just 2 days earlier, and yet most people accepted it. After all, every family has the right to a private birth experience, right? Maybe they simply chose to do things on their own terms. But in light of this recent hospital denial, those missing elements are no longer just unusual. They're suspicious. The absence of documentation, combined with the absence of any photographic evidence showing the lead up to the birth, paints a picture that's now being re-examined in a much more serious light. If Meghan truly gave birth, why does it seem like every single trace of that experience has been erased? And if the story was changed once, is it possible the entire narrative was carefully built from the start? The video, clips that won't go away. Back when Meghan was pregnant, social media users flagged strange inconsistencies in her appearance. Her baby bump appeared to change shape from day to day, high and round in one clip, flat or sagging in another. And in one infamous moment, her stomach seemed to fold as she sat down. At the time, people dismissed it as lighting, clothing, or bad angles. But now, with the hospital's denial out in the open, those clips are going viral again. Experts and amateur analysts alike are re-watching them frame by frame. And suddenly, that fold doesn't look like a camera trick anymore. It looks like a potential costume malfunction. The surrogacy. Whispers get louder. As these inconsistencies stack up, one theory that was once laughed off is now back in the spotlight. Surrogacy. Did Meghan use a surrogate and simply pretend to be pregnant for the cameras? Sources close to the palace say this theory was quietly discussed even back in 2019. Some insiders now claim that a surrogate may have been used, and not even in the UK. Whispers suggest it was a foreign woman, part of a confidential legal arrangement, wrapped in NDAs and secrecy. If that's the case, it would explain everything. The missing hospital records, the lack of photos, the tightly controlled media narrative. But it would also mean the public was watching a carefully orchestrated illusion. The birth certificate that raised eyebrows. Eventually, Meghan and Harry did release a birth certificate, but even that raised questions. While Meghan was listed under her royal title, there was no hospital named. No attending doctor publicly acknowledged for a royal birth. That's unusual, very unusual. Usually, royal birth certificates follow a strict protocol. The medical team is known, the location is specified, the process is transparent, but in Archie's case, none of that happened. Now looking back, people wonder, was it all carefully edited to fit a narrative while avoiding uncomfortable truths? Why this actually matters? You might be wondering, why does any of this matter? Here's why. Archie isn't just a celebrity baby, he's a royal. His title, his place in the line of succession, his constitutional standing, all of it depends on a verifiable birth from his biological mother. If Meghan didn't give birth to Archie herself, and if that detail was intentionally hidden, it could potentially call everything into question. Not just the image Meghan carefully built, but Archie's legal royal identity. The silence that speaks volumes. What's most alarming is what's not being said. Meghan's PR team hasn't issued any statement about the hospital's bombshell. No denial, no clarification, no explanation. And if you followed Meghan's media strategy, you know silence is rarely accidental. She often waits, then reappears in carefully crafted interviews with curated lighting and pre-approved questions. But this time, the silence is only fueling the fire. The public is no longer shrugging things off, they want answers, and they're not settling for soft interviews. Harry's role, unknowing, or partner in planning. One of the biggest lingering questions now is, how much did Harry know? Was he part of the plan? Or did he believe what Meghan told him, just like the public did? Some insiders suggest he went along with everything to protect their privacy. Others believe he genuinely thought the pregnancy was real. But either way, it's becoming clearer that the full truth was never shared. And now that the cracks are showing, even Harry's role is being questioned. Public reaction and social media explosion. Social media is exploding with breakdowns of old footage. There are now entire threads, timelines, and video comparisons dissecting everything from Meghan's walk to the way she held her belly. This isn't fringe gossip anymore. It's trending on major platforms. Even royal fans are starting to question what they once defended. And the headlines are growing more serious, more investigative. This is no longer about dislike or drama. It's about credibility of a royal birth, a royal child, and a royal narrative. The brand of motherhood, curated or constructed from the very beginning, Meghan's image as a mother has been front and center in her post-royal brand. The soft-focus baby showers, the Vogue-style pregnancy portraits, the carefully worded interviews about balancing motherhood with mental health and fame. It all painted a picture of authenticity, a modern mom doing things her own way. But now, with every unanswered question and every missing document, that picture looks less like a candid portrait and more like a highly produced marketing campaign. Was it ever about motherhood at all? Or was it about shaping an identity that could sell on magazine covers, in documentaries, and in brand deals? Because when you strip away the press releases and the PR filters, what's left is a growing disconnect between the image she sold and the reality that's being exposed. And that raises the ultimate question: was Meghan trying to be a mother, or trying to play one? The bigger question, at the heart of this storm, is a child, Archie, an innocent baby caught in a media hurricane. But beyond Archie lies something even bigger: the truth. Meghan Markle's entire post-royal identity is built on the idea of honesty, of finally being free to speak her truth after being silenced. But if the very first story she ever told, the story of Archie's birth, wasn't real, then it shakes the foundation of everything that followed. People are no longer asking, was she mistreated? They're asking, what else was staged? And more hauntingly, why would someone go to such great lengths to hide something so natural unless it wasn't real at all? Stay tuned, because this story is far from over. Subscribe to this channel for more eye-opening investigations, and let us know in the comments, what do you think really happened the day Archie was born?